Mr Windier, you've indicated to this committee that you've got no real information about retail prices.
Yeah, so Senator, I do not...
Do you want to reconsider your answer in that regard? Because I would have thought that sitting in your department is a large amount of information about the impact on Australian consumers.
I imagine I'm sure that's right, Senator. I was simply answering, I myself, sitting here today, do not have details of the various retail packages reselling the NBN to use in answering this question. I've taken on notice and very happy to find what information we do have about
Thank you.
Retail pricing packages for the NBN.
I also want to challenge the way you've characterised the wholesale price. And, Mr Minister, you said, what is it about the wholesale price that goes down that delivers? Why is that the government's fault? Well, I'll tell you why it's the government's fault, and no less than from the Aussie Broadband Managing Director Philip Britt, who told NCA Newswire, and this is the same article to which I referred earlier, that by not only continuing to charge CVC but doing so on an individual basis, the NBN has effectively forced our hand to raise prices for the majority of our broadband customers, and at a time of heightened financial uncertainty. So the price changes of the NBN were not just the wholesale price. There was a great deal of controversy about the CVC, which covers the full amount for bandwidth the provider wants to pass between its own network and the NBN's network. And so what this price change meant was that for low-speed plans, rather than CVC usage being calculated across the user base, for lower-cost plans, the NBN now requires that a person's CVC usage is specifically attached and charged to them. So that change in the NBN's pricing, sanctioned by the government, as the head of Aussie Broadband has said, forced them to drive up their prices. What do you say to that, Minister?
Well, first of all, I want to again go through what actually the fact in.
Could I just ask you to answer that question?
Yeah,
please, just to be directly relevant to the question.
Yeah, I'm answering it. So in December, the NBN wholesale pricing decreased on 5 out of the 6 plans, including the 2 lowest cost plans. So that is a fact. So you're essentially here to apologise for large retail providers who have jacked up their prices. So, where are you reading that from? What I'm saying is the fact is that the wholesale pricing decreased. That's what I'm saying.
So but I didn't ask you about that, Assistant Minister, with respect. I asked you about the continuing decision to charge the CVC and the way in which the CVC now applies directly to each user for those on lower plans, and as Aussie Broadband has made clear, that has effectively forced our hand to raise prices, because we're not disputing the wholesale price changes, but it's the CVC charge. So when we talk about NBN prices and the impact that this has had on Australians, Assistant Minister, I put to you that the government-mandated decision of the NBN has hurt customers. And in fact, Mr Britt, the Managing Director, says this. Regardless of the reasons, we know this will hurt for some customers.
Senator.
No, I'm just asking the Assistant Minister to respond to that, to the CVC charge component, please.
Well, what I can tell you is when these retail prices went up, they received a warning from the ACCC, and the prices in December, using the SAU, that actually went down.
Can I ask you to respond to the specific concern the Managing Director of Aussie Broadband has raised about this CVC charge, which has forced their hand?
What do you say to that, Minister?
Sorry?
I'll just take it on notice, because I've responded and that's my response.
Thanks, Minister.